Hey guys, it's RockTheGolem, and welcome to The Walking Dead Season 2. Now, there may be some confusion because what you're seeing on the screen right now is The Walking Dead Season 1. The reason why I have this up right now is because I played through this game already before I was doing Let's Plays. So, while I did want to play again for everyone to see, I decided that that would be kind of, boring for me. And also, Season 2 has been out for a while. I haven't gotten into it yet. And Season 3 is already coming out pretty soon, and I want to get into that as well. I'm a huge fan of The Walking Dead, and which is why I was playing these games. But I don't want to sit there and have to, play through all this Season 1 stuff again. If I do, if you guys are interested in seeing it, that is, I think I might actually go ahead and record each chapter as one long episode. I've never actually done that before. I'd like to see how it works out, so this might be a good opportunity for it. But what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to go into the old game, and you can see I played this a long time ago. We're talking over 3 years here. So I'm going to go into the statistics for everything and show you guys what I chose. We'll start out with the special episode of 400 Days, which is like the prequel to Season 1. Now, if this is confusing to any of you guys, I do apologize. I will go through and, just show you all the stats of what I selected and everything, but you can ignore all this and skip forward if you want to the gameplay for Season 2. But for 400 Days, Danny or Justin, whose foot did you shoot off? 30% of me and 30% of players shot Danny's foot off. And now, again, this has been a long time, so I don't really remember a lot of what this stuff is. Did we stay in the car or we get out, stay or go? Wow, dead split down the middle. Half of us stayed in the car, half of us decided to get out. Who left Nate? Did you leave Nate or stay with him? Me and 25% of players stayed with Nate. Wow, so a lot of people actually abandoned him. Liar, did you lie to Leland? 25% of players, including myself, were honest with him, so we told him the truth. And killing Stephanie, did you leave in the RV or kill Stephanie? Me and 75% of players left in the RV. Okay, so I remember the RV. I remember staying in the car. I don't remember any of the rest of them, really, because it's been so long since I've played. So, you know what? Maybe I will eventually go through and play these again as long episodes. But let's go back through all the other episodes and see what I did. For episode 1, were we honest to Herschel? Did we lie to him? 63% of players were honest, including myself. Did we save Duck or Sean? Wow, pretty close even split. We chose Duck. I mean, he was a kid after all. Although when you think about it, Sean was much older, probably more capable, so saving him might have been the better option, but I know Duck was Kenny's son, and I was good friends with Kenny as far as I could tell. Loyalty, did we side with Kenny? Me and 51% of players sided with Larry instead of Kenny. Mercy, did we give Irene the gun? Me and 45% of players gave her the gun. Now, I believe Irene was the woman inside of the motel who was going to off herself anyway. Who would you save, Doug or Carly? Me and 76% of players chose Carly, and for me, that was pretty obvious. I was playing a male character, which everyone was. Everyone was playing as Lee. I went for the female because who knows? Maybe someday we'll have to repopulate the world. Okay. So Savior, did we chop off David's leg? Me and 15% of players left him to die. So I'm in the vast minority on this one. I left him to die, but most people actually decided to save him by chopping off his leg. Go figure. Interrogation, did we shoot Jolene? Wow, okay. The vast majority of us actually copped out and had Danny shoot her. Pragmatism, did we help kill Larry? Me and 68% of players did not help, and I'm okay with that. I did not want to kill Larry. He was a jerk, if I remember correctly, but I didn't want to do it. Revenge, killed both the St. John's brothers. Wow, me and only 17% of players killed both the brothers. I'm very surprised by this, because these guys were cannibals. They were eating other people, which, you know what? They touched on that in the actual series and everything with cannibalism, with Terminus and whatnot. So I understand that there are people out there like that, but those people they're just as bad as the walkers, in my opinion. Survival, did you steal food from the car? Again, pretty decent split down the middle. Me and 44% of players did not steal. I almost kind of regret making that decision now, because I think if I had come across it, I probably would have stolen it, because, at that point, it's survival of the fittest. If you're not protecting your stuff, then you pretty much are getting what you deserve. Sweet Merciful Death, did you shoot the girl in the street? Me and 59% of players did not shoot her. I don't remember what that was about. Left Behind, did you abandon Lily? Me and 42% of players left her. Again, I don't really remember too much about that. Standoff, did you fight Kenny? Me and 44% of players talked him down, which again, Kenny's supposed to be my friend. I wanted to talk him down. I didn't want to get violent with him. A Heavy Burden, did you shoot Duck? Me and 20% of players did not shoot him. If I remember correctly, I believe Kenny took care of that. Helping Hand, did you help Omid? Me and 44% of players did not help Omid, but again, I don't remember what that one was about. God, it's been 3 years. I thought I remembered more of this story, but I guess not. I do remember how I ended the game, though, so once we get into that chapter, I'll be more than happy to share that with you guys. The Boy in the Attic. Did you kill the Boy in the Attic? Me and 74% of players killed him. Wow, this whole chapter, I actually was on the majority side. Hippocratic Oath. Did you lie or threaten Vernon? Me and 66% of players were rational and honest. Home Alone. Did you bring Clementine with you to Crawford? Me and 73% of players brought her, which is understandable. We're supposed to be protecting her. For Whom the Bell Tolls. Did you let Ben fall to his death? Me and 66% of players pulled him up. The Bite Reveal. Did you reveal your bite to the group? Me and 80% of players showed the bite. And yeah, I wanted to be honest with them because the group needs to understand when stuff like that happens. My friend John and I actually have a kind of a long-standing argument against this. Not so much revealing if you were ever bit in a zombie apocalypse, but rather what the other people should do if they were bit in a zombie apocalypse. According to him, that person should just be shot immediately and not run the risk of anything. In my opinion, whatever that person has, he should give over to the group, save maybe like one knife or something like that so he can at least defend himself, and have him be the frontline guy. Like, have him go into the situation first. He's already bit. He's already going to be on the verge of dying. So send him in, let him check stuff out, make sure everything's safe. You know, basically let him be like the tester or the bait for other walkers and stuff. And, you know, God willing, if there's enough time and it, you know, the opportunity provides itself, you shoot him in the head right before he turns or right before he becomes actual food. Not just a bite, but like food for the walkers. That's my opinion. He has his. We beg to differ. Lord willing, we'll never be in a zombie apocalypse, and I'll never be bitten, and we'll never have to worry about it. Anywho. Desperation. Did we remove Lee's arm? I was very surprised by this. Me and 28% of players didn't remove our arm. The reason why I chose not to do it is because Lee knew that he was going to go after Clementine. He had to save her. So, for me, having two arms is much better than only having one. And I know we've seen it in The Walking Dead before when severing or amputating limbs or areas where there have been bites has prevented the person from turning. We saw it with Herschel, with his leg. But with Lee's circumstance, he had been bit for a while. He was unconscious. They were debating over it. Whatever it was that was in Lee's system had already taken its time to go and actually, you know, infest him completely, in my opinion. So at that point, there was no point in removing the arm because whatever he was going to remove, it was already spread through his body anyway. So that was the end of it. So why not keep the arm and actually make better use of your entire, you know, physical body? Follow. Do we lose our temper? Me and 74% of players lost our temper with Kenny. I don't remember what that was about, but I know I felt like I was justified on it. Disarmed. Did you give up your weapons? You and 59% of players surrendered your weapons, which again falls in line with my opinion is with if you're ever bit in a zombie apocalypse that you should just hand over whatever supplies and equipment that is beneficial to the rest of the group and have maybe like one small weapon, like a knife or, you know, a club, something to, you know, just keep yourself up and going for as long as possible. Let's see, Stranger. Killed Clementine's captor. Me and 42% of players killed the Stranger. And I'm kind of surprised by this, that more people didn't. Again, in my opinion, Lee's job was to keep Clementine safe, and someone was a threat to that. Plus, on top of it, now knowing that we were going to die, we have to show Clementine that the world is like a cold, dangerous, and scary place. And in certain times, you have to be that kind of like ruthless and aggressive. So I killed him because of those two reasons. He went after Clementine. He deserved to die just because of that, but Clementine needed to learn. Goodbye. Stopped Lee from turning. Me and 36% of players told Clementine to leave Lee. Again, this kind of contradicts with what I just said. Clementine needed to learn about killing and things like that, but I didn't want her to have me be that first kill. You know, she was still a kid. I think I told her, what did I tell her? The piece of advice I gave her was to always keep her hair cut. Because I remember there was a scene where Lee had to cut her hair because it was getting way too long. So I do remember telling her to keep her hair cut as the piece of advice. But I didn't want her first kill to be Lee himself. I don't know, like, I honestly don't know what I would do in that circumstance. Like, I think of, you know, my nephew. He just turned 10 months old. Like, let's say for the sake of argument, you know, we end up in a zombie apocalypse and he's a kid and I'm going around with him and I know I'm about to die. I'm going to turn. You know, but he's old enough to handle a gun. He's old enough that I'm trying to teach him how to survive and everything, you know, assuming that his parents aren't already there doing the same thing. But, you know, how would I feel about, you know, his first kill actually being me? And not even me as a zombie, but me as a dying human, basically trying to put me out of my misery and prevent me from turning. You know, that's a very grim topic for a child. You know, there's teaching kids, you know, how to get to a certain point of survival, and then there's actually having them go through with it. And that was just a line, at that point playing the game, I was not ready to cross. Nowadays, if I were in that situation, like I said, it has been 3 years, who knows, I might have a different opinion on it, but that's where I stood at the end of it at the time. So that's the way I ended Season 1. So I was actually going to go into Season 2, but I think what I might do is what I did with Xenoverse, where I went through the first Xenoverse 1 and did like an episode 0. So I think this might be episode 0 for The Walking Dead. Again, if you guys are interested in seeing me play through Season 1 and actually go through, I may not make the same decisions I made before. One, because even though we just went through them, I don't remember how a lot of the story played out. I don't know if the decisions I made back then would be the same as I've made now. You know, it has been 3 years. I've been through a lot of stuff. My life has changed. Back when I played this game, I was just finishing up my degree in college after going back to get my bachelor's. Now I've been, you know, out in the world, out in the workforce for 3 years. I'm looking to relocate to a different state entirely. My outlook on life has changed to some degree, and who knows how that might affect these decisions. So again, if you guys are interested in seeing me play through Season 1, let me know, and I'll do them as big, long episodes. I'll do the whole chapters as one playthrough. I do want to give a shout out real quick to Steel Revolution. My buddy actually from work long ago, he did playthroughs of both Season 1, and I believe he's done Season 2 as well. I purposely haven't watched his Season 2 playthrough because, like all other playthroughs, when I know I want to play a game, I don't watch anyone else's stuff because I don't want their stuff to subconsciously influence what I decide. However, because he's played Season 1 and has already gone through, and I'm not sure if he's finished yet by the time this will be this episode will be published, but he should have Season 2 gone through, and I'm certain that he and I will both be playing Season 3 coming up. So check out his channels, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on him, and hopefully you guys like what you see over on his channel. But anyway, that's going to do it for this episode here. So thank you all very much for watching. If you liked what you've seen and heard, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And having said all that, I will see you all on the other side. Take care.